Hello, friends. This is Steve Delamarter, along with my friend and colleague Gary Jost, and we're here to talk about the words profile match. You found this video sitting beside a link, a picture of a spreadsheet and a link to that spreadsheet. And if you click on it, you'll see the thing that we're going to be talking about in this video. The data for this particular video is taken from the book of Ecclesiastes, but there's a distinctive words profile match for every book that we study. In this video, we want to explain how the data sheet was produced, what we learned from it, its place in the THEOT project, which is absolutely central, what can be derived from it, which is almost everything that we do. It's all derived from this first data set. And let's just take a look, jump right in and take a look at the data tab here, or the sheet, the words profile match sheet, and the first tab is the data tab. Gary, tell us what we're looking at here.
Okay. First of all, I'll say a word about the term words profile match. We did some experiments with other kinds of match algorithms, we call them an exact match, where every single difference, consonant or vowel, is considered a different variant. For our purposes, we weren't interested in the exact match so much. That's more a study in orthography rather than textual history.
Yeah.
And so what we're interested in is this words profile match, where the question is there a word there or not in a particular manuscript?
Yeah.
And so if we look at this, column A has the TVU number, TVU, text variation unit, for us, and then the verse beside it, verse 1a, column 1. Column 1 refers to where we align the text, the alignment of the text according to having the same as root. The various possibilities here, either there's a word there or there's not. And to the right, all of the columns represent a different manuscript. And the ones and the twos, so a 2 means, yes, there is a word there in this manuscript for this particular location in the text. A 1 means, no, there is not a word there for a particular manuscript at this point in the text. And we do have a few zeros. 0 represents, well, you can't know, like if the leather was torn away, you don't know what was there. And so we put in a 0 for that.
So this is the step in our process that turns text into numbers. And it gives us the ability to convert linguistic data into statistical data and to identify shared variations between and among the manuscripts. It's really the moment of magic. I bring back up the spreadsheet. So the sample that we produced from the book of Ecclesiastes and put into columns, we have 37 manuscripts in the study. That's our sample of manuscripts. Our sample of text gave us, when we aligned it all, 986 columns. 986, just about 1,000 times 37 is 37,000 data points in this spreadsheet. And everything that there is that needs to be known about the textual history of, at least as it's reflected in our sample, is in this spreadsheet. It's all in here, all these ones and twos, and it's the patterns of ones and twos and how they relate to one another that really is going to be the foundation of where we can go from this. But the thing to note here is that we turned linguistic data into statistical data right at this point, and that's how we did it. So once again, these data represent the foundation of the THEOT statistical universe. Everything is grounded on this. This shows our workflows, and here's the data tab that we're just looking at. And we're trying to show with this graphic that everything derives from this data sheet, and there are statistical reports, certain tools that then we create that have a whole host of functionalities are all derived directly from this, and some then we derive and we derive and we filter and we move around and then put it back in the spreadsheet, filter it some more with spreadsheet filters in order to, but it all comes back to this foundation of the ones and twos in that data sheet. That's where the magic is.
So let's look at the spreadsheet, and first let's look at the data tab. Okay, on the data tab, we're interested in how a manuscript compares to the various other manuscripts. And so in columns F and G, you have the data for witness 1 and witness 2. And it's possible to run down the rows comparing how many of them are the same, how many are different. So how many are the same out of the total number of data points? Again, right now we're thinking about just comparing those two manuscripts. And so you determine that, and that gives a percentage. And that leads us to the percentage tabs there. Next to the data tab, there are two percentage tabs. The second one excludes unique readings, and we'll get back to unique readings in a bit. The first one includes unique readings. So again, these are all the percentages for each manuscript against every other manuscript. We also create the ratios tabs. This is, same information as what we have in the percentage expressed as a ratio. The significance of including or excluding the unique readings. For the sake of creating the dendrogram, we exclude the unique readings. It gives us a better picture. So just to be clear, unique readings means a single scribe presented a certain reading. We could also refer to it as an idiosyncratic reading. And for the purpose of the dendrogram, we exclude those unique readings because it gives us a better picture of what's going on. Now, on the other hand, when we're looking for best representative of the clusters, we include those unique readings. And the logic there is, if you're looking for which manuscript best represents that cluster, if a particular manuscript has lots of unique readings, well, that kind of skews the data. And so it doesn't give us the best information. So again, for identifying the best representatives of the clusters, we include those unique readings.
Yeah. Immediately upon producing this data tab, actually in the same process, the percentages tabs and the ratios are all produced. And then with another couple of scripts, we can produce two reports very quickly off of this data tab. The most important one, the one we use most consistently, is the statistics tab. Once again, we have all the manuscripts represented here. And we have what we're doing here is totaling up certain features. So in the first number, first two sets of numbers, we're looking at the zeros. And if you remember, zeros stand in a way for the condition of the manuscript. If certain things are obliterated and we can't read them, sometimes there's whole folios missing. And that's so what this report does is give us a very clear picture about the numbers of zeros in every manuscript. And so, for instance, very quickly you can tell Davies Zion 1 is not a manuscript you'd want to, it's mostly gone. It's just a good share of it, 45% of it is not there. Everybody else is pretty much there and may have a few lacunae here and there, but not bad. But here now you can clearly see it, and this is information we consult when we're asking ourselves, should a manuscript be used as the best representative of a cluster if it has a lot of these lacunae, even though the text that is present still aligns really closely with the cluster profile, we wouldn't use it precisely for this reason. In a similar way, but a completely different set of statistics follows here now that have to do with the phenomena of scribal idiosyncrasy, which is a whole study in and of itself about how is it that certain scribes give themselves the latitude to just do things on their own, to create idiosyncratic readings. And we can see here that when certain scribes, here's 33. First of all, it's not impossible. Yeah, right there says it's not impossible to make a copy and not do any things idiosyncratic. And so most all of the scribes present here are operating in that you're not supposed to do idiosyncratic things. And so the numbers here are quite low. But then we start to creep away and certain other ones. And again, if we remember that for the book of Ecclesiastes, I don't remember the exact number, but somewhere between 10 and 15% of the book is all that we have in our sample. That means that you would multiply this by 85% to get for the total book. This manuscript has a whole bunch of idiosyncratic readings. This one would be is the winner for being most idiosyncratic. So that's just a real interesting understanding that derives immediately from it's all present in that data sheet, though you can't see it until you have this script that runs through and just aggregates this particular kind of data. And once you figure out what it is and what it tells you, the numbers tell a story about idiosyncratic behavior of scribes, and that just becomes a very fascinating insight into each individual manuscript and the scribe that produced it. The other tabs is this unique readings tabs, which is a further investigation of the patterns of present and absent. And this one at the bottom aggregates all of this to tell us how many times there's a minus of one word or a minus of two words or a plus of 5 words or 6 words. It's another view of the aggregated behavior of the scribal community across time and space. 37 scribes from across 7 centuries. It just once again, there's a whole lot of data here that we haven't yet really figured out how to exploit and visualize, but there are stories in here to be sure. So what does this teach us about data creation and data processing? There's a lot of steps leading up to generating the data tab. It takes months indeed for whole teams of people to create transcriptions and then aggregate all their things, bring them together and clean them up. There's just several months doing that work. And then we press that button and it generates the data. That's a wonderful moment, but we've had to do at least 10 processes before that to get ready to generate the data. But upon its creation, then, man, a world opens up to us, ones that we can just within seconds. We're looking at these other reports and seeing the possibilities that come from processing the data to pursue certain digital fingerprints, shared patterns of variation that are hidden within that data spreadsheet, and then be able to illuminate the stories about the subsets of the data. It's a wonderful set of things. And here's our slogan. We turn text into numbers and identify patterns in the numbers, and then turn the numbers back into stories.